So it's Monday and we are on week 2 of unit 14, continuing on with plants. Our goals for the week of this unit is to continue to educate our kids on how plants start and seeds and how they grow and how all the parts of a plant or flower work together to keep it alive. As always, we're going to have fun yet simple and easy to prep engaging activities that are really going to help build that foundation of science, math, and language skills for your kiddo. We're going to use practical items from around the home, and I will put that list of supplies and books in the description below. If you have just stumbled upon this video, I will also be sure to link our playlist somewhere here so that you can catch us right from the start at week 1, unit 1. So let's do this. Monday, after you complete your morning circle time or calendar routine, be sure to do a nice little recap with the poem and song that is included with this unit just to get the conversation going again. And then ask your kiddo a question such as, how does every plant start? Our read aloud for the day is The Tiny Seed. And for things to talk about, you simply want to have your kiddo guess what's going to happen as you go through this book. And this is also a great time to check in on all of the seeds and stuff that we planted last week. Ours aren't doing so well. Our learning activity today is sorting flower parts. So you want to get a couple of different kinds of flowers if you can and just deconstruct them. We're not just looking at the petals this time. We want to sort them into stem, leaves, and petals, and perhaps the center. I don't know what you call the center of a flower, but sort out all the parts and talk about the importance of each part, such as the stem pulls up water from the ground and the roots, the leaves pull in the sun, and the petals will attract the bees, stuff like that to keep the conversation going. We got into this activity right away this morning before we got into anything else, and we were lucky enough on this past weekend, our Meemaw stopped by again and just spoiled us with outdoor and garden themed things. One of the things that we got was this really cool press that we currently have a bunch of roses in because she also dropped off a huge bag of cut roses to be pressed. So that is what we used for this activity this morning because all of our outdoor flowers are pretty much well done for the season right now, except for a few random lupin. So we didn't have a variety, but we had a lot of pretty delicate roses since they were already a couple of days cut. So we had a few leaves, we had some stems, and then what we're doing is taking the short stems and just spinning it between our forefinger and thumb to see if any petals would fall off. We kept the ones that stayed intact in a separate pile. And that is actually what we used a little later on for our easy activity, which is flower painting. So just as it sounds, you want to paint with some flowers. So what I did for this one, since our flowers were so delicate, is I just used a very wet paintbrush to kind of spread out the paint that we were going to dab the flowers in first, so it wasn't just pulling all of our petals out. And we also used black paper for this one to really make our colors pop. Since we always use white paper, we have a bunch of black paper that, really doesn't get that much use. So this was a really fun activity once we got going, of course, and I think it looks fantastic. All two of the colors look pretty bright and vibrant up against the black paper. The purple kind of blends in a little bit. And that's all for today. Tuesday, once you finish your morning circle time or calendar routine, then a question you may want to ask your child is something along the lines of, I want to plant a flower. Do you know how I would do that? And see what they come up with. Then you want to get into today's read loud, which is simply a repeat of yesterday's. For our things to talk about today is to introduce the letter L. So you want to, as always, have this written in upper and lower case on a piece of paper, whiteboard, chalkboard, whatever you've got. Go over the sound that it makes and have a couple of familiar words beginning with this sound, or beginning with the letter. Then you want to go back through today's read aloud and spot it a couple of times on a few pages in both upper and lower case if you can. Then for our learning activity today is actually an alphabet hunt. So it is suggested that you grab a couple of magazines that are kid friendly and have your child flip through and see how many L's they can find. Try to make it like a contest or work together, whichever way you think is going to work better for your family. For this activity, we took a bit of a different spin on it today. I told Nola whenever she spotted an L throughout the day, whether it was on clothing or toys or on our books, I wanted her to yell out, I found an L! Just to have a little bit of a different spin on this game. Our easy activity for the day is nature counting. If you can take this outside, that is fantastic. And if you have some sidewalk chalk and a sidewalk available to you, then write out the numbers 1 through 10. Draw a box around them if you can, and then have your child collect a particular number of a particular item. And quite honestly, for this activity, it was mostly Colton and I that did this. I think Nola maybe did 3 of the numbers because she just really wasn't that into it. Wednesday. So after your morning routine is complete, then you want to ask your kiddo another question, such as, what are the different parts of a plant? Then you want to introduce today's read aloud, which is planting a rainbow. As always, you are encouraged to do a picture walk through the book first before you do the actual read aloud, and make sure you point out the author and illustrator if it's available. Then for our things to talk about today, you want to talk again about seeds to plants to food to table, and just kind of help your kiddo make that connection that a lot of the food that we eat grows from plants. Our learning activity for the day is measuring plants. So you want to bring out the ruler, and again, you're not looking for perfection or complete comprehension for this activity. We're still just introducing the ruler as a measuring tool and some language around it, such as height or width, whatever you feel is appropriate for the level that your kiddo is at. So I would suggest maybe just holding the ruler up to some of your plants or flowers or grass, whatever you've got available to you, and just seeing if it's simply taller or not taller than the ruler. If your child has a little more comprehension using a ruler and understands the counting of numbers on it, you can ask them to count up to see how tall the flower or grass is on the ruler. Something like that I think might go over well. I really don't know. I couldn't convince her to help me with this one today. No matter which way I tried, it was just a flat out no. Our easy activity for the day is to mow the grass. So that grass seed that you grew last week, give your child a pair of scissors, and of course under your supervision, have them mow the lawn and see perhaps if it starts to grow back. Our grass didn't grow. Not even one little blade popped up out of the soil. So we didn't do this one. I was contemplating on going and buying some cat grass from the grocery store, but I decided to just stick with what we had, which was nothing. We're not too disappointed. Nola didn't seem too disappointed, honestly. She lost total interest in this grass after day 1 when we planted it and had initially watered it, but I had been watering it every single day. It's in a windowsill and just nothing. It was fresh seeds. They're maybe a month old, so I don't know where we went wrong there, but it didn't happen. On the other hand, Nola helps her dad cut the grass every single week. The kids take turns sitting on the riding mower, and then they help with the raking and picking up the grass afterwards. So we're not too heartbroken over this one. But some success that we have had was just before we began this unit, we actually started growing our own Christmas tree. So I don't know if you can see that in there. So it's this little container that you have to nurse inside the house for 10 months before you can take it outside and plant it, and then in 10 years, maybe have a Christmas tree. So far, we're doing good here with the help of Alexa reminding us to water it every 3 to 5 days. We also decided to have a rose petal bath last night since we still had an abundance of roses left over and the petals were all falling off. We were trying to think of something that we could do with them rather quickly so that they wouldn't just all go to waste. So the kids, not me unfortunately, had a great time in the bath making it rain with rose petals. It was pretty awesome. And that's all for today. It's Wednesday and I'm whispering because both kids are passed out in the stroller right now. They chose the stroller for their morning walk and both went to sleep. It's like a Christmas miracle and I don't know what to do. So, oh my goodness, there's a train coming. This is gonna end terribly. After your morning calendar or circle time routine, you want to get into some of our review questions that we have been asking this week, such as, what is your favorite plant to eat? Then for today's read loud, it's simply a repeat of yesterday's story. And for this one, try to help your child identify what is happening on each page. For our things to talk about today, we want to revisit that letter L, so have it written in both large and small versions on a whiteboard, chalkboard, piece of paper, whatever you've got. I know I say that every time. And be sure to include some familiar words beginning with this letter and go over the sound that it makes. Then you can look back through today's read aloud and try to find a couple examples of both a capital and lowercase on just a few pages. Our learning activity is to make a seed graph. So you want to have at least 4 different types of seeds for this one. Make up a quick little graph and then help your kiddo sort the seeds and then talk about the seeds, the size, the shape, the color, maybe ones that you can eat or ones that you shouldn't eat until maybe they grow. Also talk about about counting and how many are in each column, how many are all together. And for this one, I had a really hard time getting my kids to focus on anything other than eating the seeds, because throughout this week, they have really discovered how much they love raw pumpkin and sunflower seeds. Our easy activity for the day is sponge painting. So grab a couple of sponges, cut them up into smaller pieces, and then attach a clothes peg to the end of them. Squirt some paint out on a piece of paper and let their creativeness flow from there. For this activity, we are going to take it a little bit further, seeing as it is Father's Day this coming Sunday. So I'm going to get a big old sheet of paper and let the kids just have at her and paint whatever they feel they need to paint, sponge paint, because this, I don't think we've ever done this before, or it's been a very long time since we have. And then I'm also going to have them make a Father's Day card just as a little extension of this activity. You perhaps want to try to encourage them to paint a garden and maybe help them start to make some shapes of flowers or trees using the sponges that they've got. And that's all for today. It is Friday and it's a very rainy Friday here. But after you do your morning calendar or circle time routine, along with the poem and song included in this unit, if your kids haven't bored of it yet, I must say this week it's kind of frizzled off for us. Then you want to get into today's Read Aloud, which is a repeat from last week of the carrot seed. And for our things to talk about, you want to do a recap and recall, not just on the book, but the whole process of planting seeds and growing plants and growing flowers. See how much your kiddo can recall on their own and, of course, with your help. For our learning activity today, we are doing an alphabet review, and there's so many letters we have done so far. Well, okay, you're gonna do this. So come back here and you'll see yourself. It's suggested in the program that on a large window, you write out the letters that we have done so far in this unit. He's like kissing the screen. And then get your foam letters, put them in a bowl of water, and have your child match up the foam letter to the letter that you have written on the window in a dry erase marker, of course. A different variation that you could do on this is you could perhaps write out the thank you. You could write out the lowercase version as the foam letters come in the uppercase and have them match the two pairs together. So for this activity, we took a bit... What you need, buddy? Yeah, if you come over here, you can see yourself. Look, there you are. There you are. So for this activity, we took a bit of a different spin on this simply because I don't have a window large enough to include all of the letters. Our sliding glass door, it has like a heat reflective film that we put on there, so I really don't want to be drawing on it with dry erase marker or, you know, all the water and the foam letters. Please don't touch that part. So we took this one into the bathroom. I used washable markers, and I will say we have a whole like shower tub insert, so it's seamless and there's no grout. I don't quite know how grout and washable markers would work out for you, but you know, you test out what you got. This would also work out on a large mirror or plexiglass. So we took this into the bathroom and I wrote out the whole alphabet because if I just do the letters we've done so far, she wonders where the rest of the letters are. So I just wrote out the whole alphabet. Oh, thank you. Can you get me another letter? And I put a little bit of water in the tub and then we just dumped the letters in. I wasn't asking her for specific letters. She was either choosing a letter from the wall and then trying to find the pair in the water, or picking up a letter from the water and trying to find it on the wall. It worked out fantastic. We called out words beginning with the letters that we were on. You know, we would first do the sound that it makes, and then we would think of a letter that started, or think of a word that started with that letter. And the only tip I have for this is to just make sure you give your letters a lot of space, because the drips that run down from the letters will kind of start to erase the other letters that may be underneath the one that you're doing. Other than that, we had a fantastic time with this. She had so much fun. She was so excited. Lots of giggles, lots of laughs. I'm really, really glad that we found a new spin to put on our alphabet reviews, because I've been having a really difficult time keeping her engaged the last couple of weeks. And the cleanup is super easy. I just turned on the shower head and handed her the nozzle, and she got to spray the walls, and the letters all fell down, and the markers were just already gone. And so we pulled the plug and now the letters are already in the tub waiting for bath time. It was really, really fantastic. And our easy activity for the day is our alphabet page. So print off a large letter L or just simply draw one out on a piece of paper. And it is suggested in the program that perhaps you collect some leaves and glue some leaves onto your L or even draw some leaves. It's a G. So we're all done with our letter L. This one was Mummy's, and I just drew a flower with a fern leaf and a big fern petal. Now this was Nola's. What's this one, Nola?
A snapping flower.
A snapping flower. And what's this one?
Poppy.
A poppy. And what are all these leaves down here?
A skirt.
A leaf skirt. So, you know, as always, give your child some assistance where it is needed with the glue. One thing that we love to use is a colored glue stick. So the glue that they rub down will actually show up in a color so they can see where it is. I'm all out of them right now, but they are really, really fantastic for activities like this. That's pretty funny, huh? So that's it for the day, that is it for the week, another fantastic week. Even though we didn't get all of the activities really completed, we still had a lot of fun engaging in other gardening activities. We planted a lot of flower seeds that were also in Mima's care package. Again, we cannot thank her so much for spoiling us this past weekend. So we planted some flower seeds. Our tree is going strong, which we need to water today. And my kids have realized a love for some of the seeds that they were already eating anyways, but I don't think they realized because it's mixed in with our granola, which I will link the video we made for that because it is, oh, it's so tasty. You really, really gotta try it. So if you like this video, then please give us a thumbs up or share it with somebody you think might enjoy it or find helpful as well, or consider subscribing. Thanks.